But on behalf of Georgia Golf Performance and Club PC, we're just glad to have you guys join this parent and junior Zoom meeting where we just want to share with you some keys to tournament success. I know with summer right around the corner, there's so many opportunities for your junior to play in tournaments, and it's hard to know what they should play and where should they focus on. And it varies based on their age and skill level and what their goals are. So we'll talk about some of those opportunities that they have for this summer, and we really want to prepare you so it's a successful summer. And so we'll give you some tips from the golf side, and then Dr. Daniel and Morgan share some from the fitness and nutrition side. So hopefully educational, helpful, and then that's our goal. Is we've got a great team and great partners like Club PT to really help give you the information that you need so your junior can play at whatever level that they would like to play in. So thank you for joining the call, and I'm glad to have you guys there tonight. So with tournament golf, the number one focus should always be fun. It needs to start with fun. That's why we play the game of golf. And it started for me with being fun. But then my fun started to turn into competitive fun. And it was fun for me to compete now and try to win. And so that's where it started for me. And it needs to start that way for the juniors. So anything that we're doing, we're trying to make it where they're enjoyable. And so we want the tournaments to fit the level of the junior so it's not over their head. So we want to match the right tournaments that they're playing, that they can actually be competitive and they can achieve what they want to be. And so whether your junior's just starting to begin golf, there's a tour or there's an initiative that they can fit in, they'll have a good time. If they want to play at a higher level, there's some tournaments that will fit in for them at a higher level. We'll go over some of those tournaments to play because there's so many options out there, which is great. There was not that many options when I was younger, and I played at Atlanta Junior Golf, and they had AJGA, and that was pretty much the couple of options. And now you can play anywhere. There's so many tournaments. You can play year round, which is great. So a great resource for all this information is the Junior Golfer. Irene McMillan, she is a huge partner with us, and she supports our junior tour. And so we're proud to have her as a sponsor. And she's got a website, thejuniorgolfer.com. She lists all these tours that they have. And so from the age to the different skill level. So you can look at that resource and find out some great information from junior tournaments as well as does it fit where you're playing. So we'll go over some of that tonight. So the first phase is the developmental phase for junior, and that's just kind of getting started, getting their feet wet, learning how to play competitive golf. And so it could be through our junior developmental tour, where we focus on just making it fun and getting to experience tournament golf in a fun way. We hand the kids gift cards afterwards. They get pizza afterwards. And it's a great way to start to build some confidence. We start at 25 yards and then they move further along. So that's a great place to start. The PGA Junior League is another great place to start because that's in a very friendly atmosphere where they have a teammate. And so it's not all on them to play. And so that's another good way to get it into a somewhat of a competitive format. And then as your juniors enjoying that, then we can keep building it from there. A couple of tours that are great in the developmental phase. U.S. Kids, they start at age 5, go to age 13. They just added in a 13 to 18 teen series. GSGA, they got a great beginner series. You can choose beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And so depending on where your junior is, if they're shooting in the 50s or just starting out golf, the beginner series would probably be a good place to start. If you're shooting in the high 40s, maybe hop into the intermediate division. And if you're in the low 40s, high 30s, jump into the advanced division, and you can be competitive on that. If it's over their head, let's say they get into an event that's over their head, it's going to be stressful, right? Tournament golf is already stressful. And so if you can get them in an atmosphere that's a little bit more of their level where they can be competitive. Now it makes them the goals achievable. And so if they can achieve the goal, now it's something that's in their reach, and it makes it definitely more desirable. A couple more tours for the developmental phase that Peggy Kirk Bell. Nina's played in a couple of these events. They're really good. She won one earlier this year, but they've got different divisions as well, from Engage division to P, to be recognized, and then the Excel series. And so it's nice that these tours are having these different levels so we can fit wherever your junior is at. Under Armour Tour, they start at age 6 years old, go to age 18, and then Drive, Chip, and Putt is age 7 to 15. In all these tours, there are some parents that will be in there that treat this like it's the Masters and it's the biggest tournament their junior will ever play in. And that's not our goal, especially in the developmental phase, is just give the junior an opportunity to get some experience, give the junior an opportunity to enjoy golf before it becomes bigger and it becomes more stressful. And so I recommend if there is a tournament series or a tour that's a little bit more intense and the parents and juniors are, it's not quite as fun friendly as you would like, try a different tool. There's other options out there and find a fit that fits your junior with where their goals are. And now as they have some success and they're enjoying golf and wanting to play more, the next phase would be the learn to compete. And this is where now you're stepping into these 2-day events. And so we typically see this at age 11 years old is where now they need to work into some multiple day events. And those are more challenging because you're walking, carrying your clubs. A lot of these events now you're caddying for yourself. Now the parents can't caddy. And so it just makes it's just that next step up there. So the Georgia PGA, great junior tour that they have, ages 11 to 18. The Hurricane Junior Tour, which we do have an event at Bridgeno coming up in July. We'll send out some information for you in July for the Bridgeno tournament. But they start at age 8, go to age 18, 2-day events. They're ranked. Then a tour Nina just played on last week, the Notah Begay Tour. And that's a good series as well. If they're having success in that and want to keep building, now you can talk about the Southeastern Junior Tour, American Junior, and then state tournaments. So we got Nina playing in some state tournaments this year for the first time. And that's where you get a lot of exposure from college golfers in these state tournaments. And so now these tournaments are ranked, and you get a junior ranking, and that's what college coaches are looking at. So it's going to be very important to start building your resume. So you have the resume that college coaches are looking for, and you've got the ranking points there. So there's a lot that goes into that. We'll have future education calls like these to go more into details on that. But I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the different phases of junior development and the options that are out there, because there's so many options, and if you want to know what's there to play. So question I get all the time is, how often should my junior play? And that really varies depending on your junior. In the developmental phase, ask them if they want to play. That's the first thing. If they want to play, let them play. If they don't want to play, let them practice more. Let them play with their friends more. That's absolutely fine. Wait till they're ready. And I've even told a parent one time, why don't you have your junior just come watch one of the developmental tours or PGA Junior League and just experience it from the sidelines and see if they would enjoy it. And the kid really enjoyed it and jumped in there and ended up having a good time. So sometimes it helps to see it, and that's an option that you can have. But if you're in the developmental phase or you're in the exposure phase where Nina is at, now she needs to be playing in 12 to 18 2-day plus ranked events every year. So she's going to have more of a stacked schedule where now she's going to be traveling a little bit more. Now we're looking at, okay, where the ranking points are so we can get her ranking where it needs to be so she can go to the college that she wants to go to. So that's important on that part, just to get reps under belt, start building the resume. Now let's go into some prep. There's a lot that goes into prep, and we'll just cover a few things that can be helpful. junior is a beginner golfer, and let's say they're playing in the PGA Junior League or Junior Developmental Tour, um, maybe coming out one day before the tournament and just practice putting, chipping, full swing, just getting some experience and some reps in hitting your different clubs. Um, that'd be fun. That's going to prepare them more than if they don't have any practice at all leading up to the game. So even if it's going out and playing 4 holes, that's a great thing you can do as well. Just getting some reps in before the tournament. So at a beginning stage, that's a good place to start. If it's a tournament golfer who has some experience, our recommendation is 3 days. 3 days of prep work each week. Maybe play 9 holes. That's a pretty good level for that. And if you're in the exposure phase where Nina's at now, she's looking at 15, 20 plus hours a week is what she's looking at. And we're planning like a month ahead of time. So we got what tournaments are mid-June we were talking about earlier. Okay, what skills do we need to have in order for us to compete in these tournaments? We're looking at those things further ahead of time, building her a practice plan. So she knows what she needs to work on, from speed drills to line drills. And there's a lot that goes into that. So that planning is definitely more in depth. And so talk to your coach about that, and they can help prepare you for whatever tournaments are coming up. And we can build you a little practice plan in there, something that fits the level where your junior is at, whether they're playing 1-day events, 9-hole events, or even 36 or 72 hole events. So let's go to now parents. I want to educate you a little bit on making the experience fun for the juniors, because I see a lot of times the parents get really into the tournament. You got the tournament coming up and they're excited, and the nervous energy, it spreads to the junior. So I recommend for parents to just stay relaxed, stay chill, treat this like it's just going to a day of practice. Like that's the kind of attitude that you have there. And I see so many of the best players in the world, they're relaxed, but they're focused. And that's because they're confident in their skills. So that's what I recommend for you guys. Stay super chill, stay relaxed. Let the juniors see that you're not stressed out. You're just going out there, just another day at golf, right? This is what we do. This is not something special. We just treat every day like it's a day of golf. And so we don't want them to believe that they have to hit great shots for us to be impressed with them, proud of them. You know, we're proud of them because they're our children. We're proud of them when they try their best. We're proud of them when they have a great attitude and great sportsmanship. You know, we want them to know that and just treat them that this is just what we do, and this isn't something that we need to get super stressed out about. It's okay to be nervous. Nervous is a great thing, but just kind of in that relaxed tone that you have. Just talk to them like this is just every day what we do. Now, our belief is that the focus should be on development, not on quick results. There's things I can do in the lesson to help get your junior maybe putting better quicker, but without, if you can't be in a hurry and get depth. Well, I'm going to say that again. You can't be in a hurry and get depth. So if you can focus more on developing our juniors and less on just quick results, in the long run, the ceiling will be much higher. And so there's things that I'll do. I'll go slower. I'll let them fail. I'll let them mess up. I'll let them make a mistake, even though I can see it coming. Let them make the mistake. Then we have an opportunity to talk about it afterwards. And they learn 10 times faster by them experiencing things and learning that way versus us just telling them. And so our focus and want you guys to focus on just long-term development, not just short-term success. And the first development that we care about at Georgia Golf Performance is being great people, great human beings, developing great character qualities in golf. Gives you a lot of opportunities to learn these things, right? You're going to be tested. You're going to have adversity. You're going to have your patience tested. Golf is a very difficult sport, and so it can teach a lot of life lessons through golf. And we want to let our juniors learn these things through them. And so a practical example of a way that we tell our parents to help teach your juniors is after a round of golf, good or bad, you're not allowed to leave the golf course right away. And so many juniors have a bad round. They want to jet out of there as fast as possible. And we have our juniors, they go walk to the scoreboard. They have to go talk to the other kids. They have to go be a kid. Ask your friends how they did. Go be a friend. Now go shake the person's hand that won the tournament. That's hard. That's hard to do. I've been there. I've been a junior golfer. My dad made me do that, and that was hard. But this teaches them there's so much more. It's not just about them. It's being a good friend. It's being a great sport. Those are all character qualities that we want to instill in you. So have your juniors start doing that, and you'll be impressed with what that develops in them, because we care more about them being great human beings than just great golfers. And if you look at one great example we have right now, it's Scotty Scheffler, right? You can say he is a better person than he is golfer. He's an incredible golfer. And so I'd much rather my son or daughter, I've got 2 daughters, be known as a great person than just a great golfer, but they're a friend. And so that's something that we care about as well. We'll go the distance to help teach them these character qualities through golf. So then second, we want to develop them into complete golfers, okay? And it takes time to be a complete golfer. There's so many shots to learn. There's so much to learn from different lies. And what are you doing? Faster greens, slower greens, wind, club selection, pressure. There's so much to learn, and it just takes time to learn these things. And so just don't be in a rush to learn. It's okay to have them make mistakes. I don't recommend over coaching them. Let them figure it out. They're going to learn better if they figure it out, or we can ask them questions. And so really big on using tournaments as learning opportunities, and just letting them do their thing, especially because as they get older, they're going to be having to caddy for themselves. And so if we can start, as they get 9, 10, 11, we can start backing away a little bit more. Now they're taking ownership of their golf game and making these decisions, and it's really helpful. Something very interesting, Jordan Spieth, he was not playing junior tournaments at age 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. He didn't start golf when he was 12 years old. What was he doing at 8 years old? He was playing baseball. He was playing other sports. He was being an athlete, and that's something that we believe in. Be an athlete before a golfer. And so at the early stages on, it's not the most important thing to jump into tournament golf. It's more important that junior is becoming an athlete. They're loving what they do, and they're just developing as a person. If they can do that, they can focus on that long term. That's going to set them up for more success. Interesting enough, the U.S. kids, they've done some research on their players, and the kids that have early success in U.S. kids, let's say they're winning at 6, 7, 8 years old, they're not turning into PGA Tour players, and they're not turning into PGA Tour winners. So it's very interesting how early success is not bringing to long-term success, and that's because they're skipping over the developmental phase, long-term focus on developmental. And so that's our focus. It's okay to win. It's great to win. Not against that at all. But there needs to be other more important goals in there. So when you're setting up for tournaments, have a game plan, have a goal that's even more focused, not on just results, but how can we develop as a golfer with, okay, what are we working on? This month, our focus is more putting stuff. So speed putting is going to be very important. The routine, following the routine is important. What are we thinking about over the ball? We're going to think about the speed of the putt over the ball. If we do that, that's the win. Not just holding the trophy is the win, but following that routine is the win. So winning it, hey, you had great sportsmanship. You had a great attitude. Tried your best. Like, if you can set goals like that, that's going to set them up for success long term, and just focusing on living and dying by winning. So I thought that's an interesting stat with the U.S. kids, and we want them to just get 1% better, just keep over time getting Something else is encouragement. So we like to follow the 5-to-1 ratio, where you got 5 praises to 1 criticism or advice. And it's very important because it's our job as parents to fill our child's emotional tank. And we can do that through encouragement, through praise. And if we can do that, that builds confidence in them. Hey, notice things that they're doing well and point those things out. And then guess what? They're a lot more apt to listen when you do have something to say, because they know how encouraging that you are. And plus, if you point out 5 things, they can't fix 5 things anyways. So if you give them one thing to focus on, it gives them time to think about that one thing, focus on that one area. And so that's a great rule to follow, to stay very encouraging, really positive, and just think about that. It's so easy, right? Me as a coach, I can always find something to pick apart, and I've got to make sure that my encouraging my students, am I saying more praise? Am I building their confidence when they leave the lesson team? That's my job as a coach, to make sure I'm doing that before I'm just giving criticism or advice. All right, parents caddy. So my role as a caddy was show up, keep up, and shut up. That was my role. I didn't want my caddy to just give me all this information. He was allowed to give me my yardage, tell me what the wind is doing, and that was it. Everything else, I was in control of that. So I recommend just talking to your junior. Ask them, what information do you want? What do you like? What do you like me for you to say on the golf course? What's helpful? What's not helpful? If you can talk about these things ahead of time, it really helps, because a lot of times we think we're helping and we're getting all this information, and we're just overloading the junior's head, and it's not helpful. So for me, I had to think clearly over the ball. So I don't like a lot of information. Give me the yardage, give me the wind, let me choose what club to hit, what I'm going to do from there. But I typically tell parents, you can ask a few questions. Hey, what club do you like? What does a good shot look like? What are you trying to do here? Those are helpful questions that you can ask. But just be careful of giving advice from that. And I definitely don't recommend giving swing advice during that time. The junior should know their swing keys, so they should have one swing key, maybe one tempo key, and keep it at that. And that's all you should be focused on. Hey, remember your tempo, remember your swing key, brushing the grass, striking the ground. That keep it as simple as that. Don't be giving them a 4 or 5 point checklist to remember as they're about to go through their routine. One thing about after the round here is, and I learned this from Dr. Brett McCabe, great sports psychologist, is after a round, don't talk to your junior about the round for 3 hours after. Let the emotions settle down. I thought that was very helpful, especially with me and with my daughters playing golf. Sally plays, and if it's a poor round or negative round, I'll let the emotions settle down and maybe ask her the next day or later that night about what she learned and what went well. If things are going well and it was a good round, ask them about their best shot and talk to them in that way. But go be a dad, be a mom, be a dad, be a parent, get in the car, turn on their favorite music, roll down the windows, like make it just an everyday thing. This is what we do, and just be dad. And then after things settle down, go ahead and then you can ask them questions about their round. What went well? What was challenging? What would you do different next time? Those are helpful questions to ask. And then I would be careful on how much advice to give. Pick 1 or 2 things, the main thing that they can improve, and then give that information and anything else, and then maybe give that information to a coach, which is helpful. The last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll switch it over to Dr. Daniel and Morgan, is prepping your junior mentally. And so one thing that was very helpful for me is setting the expectation. In my mind as a junior golfer, I thought that it was going to be the best round of golf ever. You ever think that? If this is going to be the round, fairways, greens, putts, like this is the round, and that's not the way golf goes. Golf goes up and down, and it never goes as planned. And so we need to help our juniors expect that, be prepared for that. So when they hit a bad shot on hole 1, it doesn't rattle them. When they get a bad break on hole two, it doesn't affect them. When they get distracted from a playing partner, it doesn't affect their performance. So I had in my mental game plan, she had a little sheet, and we do this with a lot of our juniors. They have to write down some things, and I like them to write down: be prepared for 10 bad breaks, be prepared for 10 bad shots, be prepared for 10 distractions. So when that does happen, it's like, oh, there's one of my bad breaks. I got 9 more to go. Move on to the next shot. It just makes it easier to deal with expecting a perfect round of golf, and then it just doesn't go your way. So you write down some things that they may struggle with if their attitude has been a struggle. Hey, what's one thing you're going to do today to have a great attitude? And they can write that down. That's super helpful. But it's very helpful to write down some keys so that you don't get too emotional on the golf course. We've all been emotional on the golf course, right? There's a lot of emotions that happen on a golf course. And we want to be able to manage these emotions. And I know with juniors, their brains have not fully developed yet, so they don't know how to express these emotions. And so it's helpful to help walk them through it. And it's just part of it, but it keeps them able to manage the emotions just a little bit better. Now, also, I want to talk to parents, because a lot of times the parents get heavily invested in the round and they live or die on every shot. I have the parents go ahead and prepare for yourself mentally. Go ahead and prepare to be relaxed out there. So to not have any poor body language. If your junior hits a bad shot, you have neutral emotion. Those are key measures. Your kids will feed off of that. They can tell if you hit a bad shot, your head's down, and they see that facial expression. They think that they're disappointing you, and that adds pressure. And we don't want that at all. And so I definitely want parents to be able to check themselves out and ask the same question. Can you go to the scoring table after and shake everyone's hand and talk to other parents? Can you congratulate the winner after a round? Hard to do, but it's what we want. Our juniors have to see it with us first as parents, and then that teaches them how they can do it. And so we're going to have a time for questions. I know there's a lot of information here, and you might have some questions, but I want to hand it over to Dr. Dan Tari and Morgan to now focus on the fitness and nutrition side of tournament prep. So go ahead, boys, take it away.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. I'm gonna pull a little audible, which I'm kind of known for doing. For those who don't know me, I'm Daniel Tari. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a board certified orthopedic therapist. Been working with Titleist Performance Institute for about 6-7 years now within the juniors category, and I know some of you on this call, and been fortunate to work with Bill and the team at GGP for, I think we're coming on 6 years, Bill. So it's been exciting to watch this grow, and just like Nina over there, it's been fun to work with her from when the program started and kind of seeing where she's at now. So we're gonna carve out a little interview time for Nina at the end for a few questions. I know she's really excited about that. Meanwhile, my 7-year-old junior golfer is laying next to me in bed right here. She's a little tired, so Tessa might make an appearance if she wants to come into camera. But I'm going to give you guys a quick little highlight of what we do and the importance of athletic development. I think it's a great tie-in to tournament preparation, keys to success that Bill was sharing on earlier. But then Jamal, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, I'd like for you to hit on some quick nutrition tips. We'll give it, a couple minutes there, and then Morgan, I think a good tie-in to what we work with within the programming for level 3s and 4s, as well as the fitness classes. I think that'd be great. So essentially what we do and how we've tied in to GGP to help our juniors is, we want to make them athletes first. So there's certain key things that we look at and we measure that's important in their development. So we look at their developmental and their biological age. What that essentially means is at what ages are boys and girls, able to hit like peak performance, and when should they start training? When should they start adequate preparation? When should they start certain milestones and hit those milestones to be able to kind of get ahead of the curve and kind of get ahead of their competition? So relating back to tournaments, I think it's important because there's some things that, Bill hit on earlier, and I took a few notes here that there's walking, there's carrying your bag, tournaments get longer. Yes, there's a mental aspect, a significant one, which I'm glad you touched on that, Bill. But the physical aspect is something you don't see as much when you're talking about the importance of like endurance and nutrition and strength training, right? When you talk about repetitive motions, when you talk about the things that come along with playing in a tournament, and all the external factors, not including the actual game of golf, there's wear on a junior. So being physically fit, having adequate nutrition, hydration, and preparation for that, some of which can be very short-lived. So immediate preparation, have an adequate warm-up, which Nina's gonna give us a little bit of a little key in on. But more so, like what are you doing to invest in that development? Which ties back to what Bill was sharing on working on some fundamentals and development, getting some depth there. And a lot of this takes time, right? So typically, we start with working with a junior, getting to know how they move, getting to know their baseline performance, and we kind of work with them at age specific milestones and targets. How fast should we be or aim to be? How strong are we? Throwing, pushing, pulling. How does our body move in relation to the golf swing? Every golf swing is different. For those of you that have seen me golf, I have a very unique 75% hockey Scottish swing, but I'm able to use some different strength and mobility to make it work for the most part, right? So juniors, when you're doing this stuff, right, and when you're working towards not only um, the mechanics of golf, skill involved with golf, and the development and deliberate practice, the other half of it, which I think GGP and the program does very well in, is preparing them to handle all the extrinsic factors. So things that we don't typically think about, right? The importance of balance, the importance of power, the importance of mobility in the shoulder, backs, hips. Um, there's a lot of things that tie into being successful at golf, but also the longevity and also reducing the risk of burnout and injury, which we do see peaking in the last 5 to 10 years, not just with golf, but a lot of sports that were before deemed like early specialization. To Bill's point on the Jordan Spieth comment, right? Golf is not one of the early specialization sports. Some of the best golfers in the world are multi-sport athletes. Golf has come second in their life, or they play other sports in addition to that. And why these athletes get to where they're at is because they have deliberate practice that is multiplanar across a lot of different disciplines, and they do a really good job at honing in on everything other than just practicing. So, I want Morgan, why don't you jump in here and tell us a little bit about how we've set up some of our deliberate practice and training that's on a weekly basis, as well as like an example of like a warm-up plan we have with our juniors to kind of help them get ready for not only practice and deliberate play, but also some of the tournament play.
Yeah, so we've I guess it was going before I got here last September, but or I guess 2 Septembers ago. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, it was kind of already in place where we were seeing some of the things, but we've done a lot of work to revamp this and get it to where it's once a week on Tuesdays. We've got our level 3 and some 4 juniors working out there. But what we've done with Club PT is they've done a great job of making it very scheduled off of, hey, we're in this time of the year, this part of the season, so we're going to work on these things. We're going to work on these things in the next part. So it's broken down into these pods almost where over the last couple months, we've been working on strength training because it's, hey, this is mostly our off season where we're prepping for season. So we got to hit the weights. We got to be in strength training. So now over the next couple months, we're going to be adding more mobility, adding more of the things that we need to put into our golf swing to be tournament ready. As we go through, it's just kind of doing those different things, working on those different movements so that by the time we get to tournaments, we're ready to go. Along with this program, the juniors get that to take home. They have a couple things that they can do for at home things or before tournaments. Like a lot of this stuff is you can do no weights, it's all mobility stuff. You can do it on the range at a tournament. get your body ready to go. Something that I thought was super interesting, and I didn't realize this as I was watching it, but Full Swing the first season, I was blown away at the guys that were in there working out like full on workouts before the round, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I did not understand that they did that much stuff. Now it's not they're squatting 350 before a round or anything like that, but they're doing mobility things. They're getting their bodies ready to go. And that's something I don't really do that much, but I was like, man, that's crazy. The best golfers in the world, they take care of their bodies first. And it's something that they don't just show up and there's a truck and, oh, I should work out before my round. This is something that starts in the off season, in the winter, whenever everybody else is kind of not in that mindset. Your best players in the world, like Bill mentioned, Scotty Scheffler, he's in there working whenever everybody else is doing what they're doing. He's working on the power. He's getting the things going so that by the time he gets to tournament prep, he's ready to go. So it's something that starts a long time ahead of just tournament, but it plays right into the tournament prep too, to where that's kind of the schedule that we're building here for the juniors. It's, hey, we've got you a thing built for the whole year round. But then whenever you go play your tournament, you've got your 2 or 3 things. You're going to get your body right. You're going to do some warm up things, and you're going to be ready to go. So that's a really important part, and we've seen that in tournament players, and Nina can attest to this too. Is the players that are working out and they're spending time taking care of their bodies, the 2 and 3 day tournaments get a lot easier. It's just that you can have that edge on people. People get tired, and that's something that in all sports, if you can keep from wearing out, you're gonna be pretty good. Even in hockey, I was watching the Dallas Stars last night. They were talking about this guy's just exhausted. They're exhausted. They're taking them. Like it's cool to see that in all sports, but in golf, it's one that you'd never think about. But there is a lot of wear in those 2 and 3 day tournaments that you don't see in other sports, like the heat, the weather conditions. If it's rain and all the things, the walking. I mean, your body's taking a toll for 8 hours in a 2 day tournament, and that's fast play. So you're seeing a lot of those things, but what we've built here with Club PT is a thing that you can build your body to where you're ready to go. As soon as you step on that tee and you go through your mobility stuff, you're ready to rock. But it starts long time before that. So they've done a great job of getting us that ready to go. It's every week. We're challenging the juniors too. Hey, once a week doesn't do much for you. We need you doing 2 and 3 and 4 times a week as much as you can get it. And as they start progressing, they're adding that into their routines, and it's cool to see the progress that they've made, and kids getting faster club speeds and hitting the ball farther. They've got more feel. Their bodies are taken care of. They're not having aches and pains like normal. So it's really cool to see that just progression as a whole from a lot of different standpoints that help not only tournament golf, but just them and golfers, like Daniel mentioned, just going, if they're gonna go play 18 with their dad, they're gonna feel good, and they're probably gonna make it a lot farther than a pops would. So that's cool to watch, and those kids are killing it. It's awesome, awesome thing to see. They've bought in, and it's a blast. We have a good time with it. It's one of my favorite parts of the week for sure, to getting to go and work out with them. That we've started joining in and doing it with them, and it's fun. We push each other, and they're killing it right now. So
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Morgan. No, it's Morgan's done a really good job helping lead this over the last several months. I think there's a lot of energy in the class. I think that it's great. And to your point, Morgan, once a week is not enough, but the ability to have something, even at a small capacity, brings that the unity and the teamwork to it. People build on that energy. People build on the leadership in the class, but also, working with and engaging with their teammates. So we think that's a really important part of the development, but also buy into all things fitness and athletic development. So, Jamal, give us a quick rundown, 2 minutes on the importance of nutrition, a few examples, and we can, for the sake of time and Nina here as well, glad to send some references over, Bill, to share with the group here. And Jamal can do the same for nutrition and hydration as well for the sake of time. But Jamal, why don't you jump into it here?
Yeah, one of the things that thank you for the opportunity, but one of the things that's probably we don't think about with kids especially is how essential nutrition is in performance. From the cognitive standpoint, when you start to get dehydrated, even if it's not hot, when your body starts to lose the volume of liquid, it actually takes a lot from your coordination, which golf is immensely important for coordination and balance. And then also your ability to focus starts to dissipate. rapidly after you go down. I believe it's like 2% of your usual hydration, your full hydration. So making sure that when your kids are out there that they have, some type of way to refuel. And that does include drinks that have electrolytes in there as well. Making sure that they have that prep. It does a lot more good than you would ever think. And as far as nutrition, for juniors, learning how to eat well at a young age is going to make a huge impact in their development, their coordination, their cognitive abilities. So introducing the multi-blend of fruits and vegetables is really essential. There's a lot of kids who say they don't like vegetables, but if you ever look at pro athletes, once they get to a certain point and they want to be elite, they know that it's part of what it takes to separate yourself from the field and definitely get the most out of what you're doing. Because those things might be tasty, your body requires nutrients at a frequency. And so that's one of those things where, as a parent, you can help them start that habit now, associated to their success. So listen, if you want to get a little bit better, Scotty Scheffler eats, A, B, and C. Scotty Scheffler loves broccoli. That might not be a true statement. Don't quote me. I think he looks like more of an asparagus guy to me, but I'm just saying. But you definitely want to introduce those things, and with a little bit of tolerance comes less resistance. I've learned that with my own girls. They know that they have to have a vegetable with every meal or a fruit with every meal. It's just essential. And that helps create that good habit. And now your kids have better brain health. Their moods will be a lot better. And also just as an athlete, they get into that part. And so, not to stretch it too long, but make sure they have a snack while they're out on the course, because no matter what competition you go to for golf, it's going to take long enough where they might need a refuel or just feeling good. And a lot of times decision making can be inhibited by hunger, and then make sure that they have some way to recharge and refuel their hydration. So that's how you can really support them in their journey, get them into habits where now if they create their water bottle, they're looking at you like, hey, we need this. This is part of our gameplay.
Nice touch there. Good job, Jamal. Yeah, good touch on the snacks while playing, right? And whether that's like some of those Cliff Energy chews, whether that's almonds, a peanut butter sandwich, whatever you like, we got to keep the body fueled here, not just with hydration. And then an easy, good piece of advice, even coming into it, not if we're not even looking at it every single day, a few days leading up to a tournament, multiple smaller meals, lean meats, grains, etc. 5 meals a day that are in smaller portions helps a lot with the metabolism, helps a lot, again, fueling yourself, and pre-tournament preparation with that is good. So making sure you got adequate fuel in your system. Bill, would you like to do the honors with Nina there, or would you like me to?
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh man, this has been waiting a long time for this, Nina. Tessa, you want to come now? Okay. All right, Nina. All right, Nina, tell us about your tournament preparation routine and the keys to success that have helped you throughout your junior career.
My preparation is more like before the tournament than like the day of the tournament, I guess. Like Coach Bill said, I started preparing like a month before tournaments prior, and I really look at the course, whether it's longer or shorter, to specialize my skills to get them right for that certain tournament. And then something I look at is like the length of the tournament. Like if it's 3 days, I know I need to work a lot on fitness so that when I get to the third day, I'm not like completely gassed. And then couple keys to success. The big thing in my practice rounds is yardage books. I started that about probably 2 years ago, and I feel like marking miss zones and that type of stuff on practice rounds really just helps you in case something goes wrong in the actual round. You know where to miss, and you can limit like fire skills.
Awesome. Tell us about your fitness and athletic development journey. And you started, I started working with you. How old were you? Were you 8? Were you 9? Something like that. Tell us about that. Tell us about your journey and kind of the stuff that you did early on where you used to look at me funny and be like, why are we doing this? And how that's kind of carried on through the routine you've established that you self-manage now, and how that's kind of helped you in success in tournaments.
It's definitely helped me a lot, especially now that I play 2 to 3 days, depending on the tournament, and in extreme heat sometimes. I feel like working out 3-4 days a week really gets me ready for those, so that when either I make the turn or I hit the third day, I have the energy to continue and don't make stupid mistakes because I didn't prepare correctly with my workout. And I feel like working on it from a young age just kind of like built in the routine. So now it's just like a routine that I know to do.
I like it. Brag on Nina for a quick second. So Nina learned how to squat, snatch, jerk, power clean, press, all before what you were probably like 10 or 11, just the movements through them. Then she progressed into slams, kettlebells, all of the above. And now she only calls me every once in a while because she can do most of it on her own, or unless I need to kind of help push her a little bit. But you've done a really great job with that, Nina. Last but not least, this is more of a you question. Know what you know now, right? What advice would you give your younger self?
I'm gonna go back to what Jamal said on the beginning. When I was a kid, I did not eat a lot of sports, and if I did, it was like gummy bears. It was not nutrition at all. I didn't like power bars. I didn't like any like almonds, peanuts. Now it's getting a lot better, but I feel like as a kid, I built that in more. Like I built in fitness, so that now it's not like a struggle to get to eat on the golf course. And I've noticed like last year in the summer when it was really hot and I didn't eat a lot, I would make the turn feeling just tired and just not ready. So I feel like when I was younger, I should have just built in a more eating habit that would help me now.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nina. Thanks for joining us in the interview clip here, and really proud of all the success that you've had over the last several years. So you've done a really good job, been a great role model within the program. Bill, I know we're out of time. I'm good to answer questions if anyone has any. Same with you probably, but you're also free to email individual questions. Happy to answer a lot of that stuff offline if it's more specific to your junior. So feel free either way.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions? We'll stay on a few extra minutes. If you have any questions for Jamal, Dr. Daniel, myself, or Morgan, or even Nina. Just unmute your mic if you need to, type in and ask a question.
Hey, Bill.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. So I know you've listed all these tournaments. I know we've talked about a few times, like as we move forward, like I think we need a little more guidance on what tournaments like our specific kids should be playing in, and this looks good, and then you're ready for that one, because we haven't done any of them, but I know that that's our next step, is to get involved in these. So I guess I'm asking just for a little bit more guidance on which ones we should be in for Kingston, for example. Because you guys know how competitive these are, and which one should he be challenged just enough, and pick the right one,
Yeah, the first step is to just be engaged, play tournaments, which he's playing, right? PGA Junior League, our junior development, or GSJ. You playing this in GSJ?
He has not. We've just done the junior PGA and the yardage stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so now start branching out from now just not events at our club, now events outside of our club, and test the waters out there. You got the Hurricane coming to Bridge Mill. That may be one that you could jump in there. We take our level 3 and 4 to Sea Island every August for the Georgia PGA Sea Island Classic. That one's a fun one, very competitive. It's challenging. So that may be a one that he can jump in there this August and test the waters on. Okay, here's that next step, and then we can talk about it. How was it? Was it over your head, or you felt like, okay, I can hang with these guys, I can learn. And a lot of the juniors that first year they went to the island, they did well, but they learned a lot, and the next year they were a lot more prepared for it. And so sometimes it's okay to jump in there and get wet. He's already playing. He loved it. He's good, but win at the local level, stay local, win, and then start branching and building out. You don't have to go to this crazy travel schedule yet. Let's start developing his skills. Let's learn how to locally be the game at Brick Mill and Town Lake, and then we can start branching.
Sounds good. And you guys have, as a team, have been absolutely fantastic. Awesome job. I got my other little one in, so you guys have been awesome. We look forward to next few years with you guys.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much. We love having you guys as well.
Amen.
Any other questions?
Hey y'all, how you doing tonight?
Good, good. Thanks for being on the call.
Good, yes. Thank you for putting this on. I don't have any question. It's Justin here, by the way. I just want to say that this was all super valuable information and y'all do an awesome job. We are blessed to have GGP and everyone else.
Well, thank you so much. We love having John in the program. We'll have John in the seat in a couple years now. So keep on training, and then we'll put John in the seat. And that's fun watching these juniors grow up and develop and turn into. John was out here since he was 2 in diapers. He's out here practicing on our Bridge Mill or Town Lake Range, and we'll have maybe a bag for John Martin up there as well. Same with
Hey, that would be cool. That would be cool. And hopefully I can get a recording of this and he can sit still long enough to watch it.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
Good. Any other-
Y'all
any
keep
other
up the good work.
Thank you so much. Well, cool. We'll close it with that then. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out to us anytime, any one of us. And thank you for being on the call. We want to continue to do more of these things. Our passion is to be leaders in the industry. And so we've got a great team that are really putting all of our minds together to really have an academy that we can help get your junior to the highest level. And so just appreciate all the coaches that we have, the team members, our partnership with Club PT, and most importantly, for you guys trusting in us and our ability to do what we do to get your junior to their goals. So thank you, Nina, for joining us. Good luck this summer, and we appreciate you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you out there on the course.
Thanks all.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.